I'd always aspired to be a writer. I'd actually written 2 failed novels by the time I became a lawyer. I didn't really think so much about writing a 3rd novel until my 2nd year in the law. The first time I was assigned to defend a child molester was 6 weeks after my daughter was born. And I really did not want to take the case. He was guilty. So that was my wake-up call. I decided then and there I was going to drop that case, quit my job, and write a 3rd novel. I wrote my first novel at the Rowan County Public Library in a carrel by the window looking out at what had been the old federal courthouse. Beautiful setting to write a legal thriller. Salisbury, as it turns out, is a fascinating place to write about. All of my stories are universal, so it doesn't require a large city generally to tell the story. North Carolina is the rich heart of the South. It has all of the old South that makes it good, and it has the best of the new South too. Small, storied southern towns with haves and have-nots and all the troubles that go with that make for great stories. When The King of Lies first came to me, it was not supposed to be a mystery. I just wanted to tell a good story about this really dysfunctional Southern family. All I ever aspired to do was get a book published. I didn't want to have to pay for it to be published. I didn't want to have to print it out on my own computer. I wanted a real New York publisher to publish my book. And that was about as far as my thinking went. Everything else was dangerous fantasy. And I'll never forget the call telling me that my first novel had become a New York Times bestseller. How many thousands of books come out every year, and how few find a significant audience. It's a remarkable thing. And I think it requires a ton of luck and timing and the right book. And I lucked into all 3. The King of Lies is about an unhappy criminal defense attorney working in a small town and desperate to change his life. That's somewhat reflective of my own life. I did not much care for being a defense attorney. The book did very, very well. And so the publishers decided, God, we want you to write another lawyer book. I rebelled and wrote Downriver, which was the exact opposite. It's about a young man widely believed to have gotten away with murder. He's as close to an outlaw as you can be without having a price on his head. And he comes back home after this long exile, and bad things start piling up. With my 3rd novel, The Last Child, I changed Rowan County to Raven County, and it gave me complete license to do whatever I want. The Last Child flowed from Downriver. In the first 3 pages of that book, we meet a dusty boy in a soft yellow world. And so that entire novel was an exercise in figuring out what could take away this boy's perfect life, down what dangerous road would that change take him, and where would he find the strength to travel that road. When I finished that book and started thinking about Iron House, which was my 4th, I knew if I was going to write about a professional killer looking for redemption, the book was going to go to hard places, and it was going to get violent. And so I just made a deal with myself at the beginning that I was not going to flinch away from some of the brutality that would have to flow. And the publishers loved it, and the readers seemed to like it too. Winning 2 back-to-back Edgars, I remember telling my wife, I want to achieve something unequivocal, and I think that winning an Edgar would be that. I mean, it's the Oscar of the mystery world. Everyone that has won it is a writer that I admire, and I really wanted to be a member of that club. There are those writers whose phenomenal success has inspired me. Writers that I can look at and say, I want to do that for a living. And that was very true of both John Grisham and Patricia Cornwell for different reasons. And I'm happy to say that I'm friends with them both now, which is really a real treat for me. It's not often that you get to know your idols. I am a storyteller. First and foremost, I want to drag people kicking and screaming through the pages. I want to write a story that people cannot put down, pure and simple. I got published when I was 40 years old. I'd had the dream since 25 to be a professional writer. And for me, the successes were so incremental. Finish a novel, finish a better novel, finish a 3rd novel, find an agent, get positive responses from editors, get the deal, do a year of pre-publication planning, and then the book comes out and suddenly your life's no longer the same. Dreams come true, and it might take a long time to get there, but the only way you're not going to happen, that it's not going to work out for you, is if you walk away from it.